Nebraska rental laws outline the rules in the state regarding lease agreements and evictions. We'll examine relevant laws for standard lease agreements, month-to-month lease agreements, and evictions. Standard lease agreement. A standard lease gives an overview of the terms between a landlord and tenant for the renting of a property. A standard lease is commonly a one-year fixed period and is the most widely used rental contract. Month-to-month lease. A month-to-month lease is an agreement between a landlord and tenant that renews automatically every month and terminates upon notice by either party. In Nebraska, notice must be provided a minimum of 30 days prior to vacating. Required disclosures. In Nebraska, the following disclosure is required to be included in the lease. Identity. The rental agreement must identify all persons allowed to enter the premises in addition to an official address for notices. Landlord access. In Nebraska, the landlord is required to give a tenant a minimum of 1 full day's notice before entering their property for repairs or any non-emergency reasons. Security deposit laws. In Nebraska, the maximum amount a landlord can charge for security is 1 month's rent. If the tenant has a pet, the landlord may tack on no more than an additional 25% for security. They must be returned to the tenant within 14 days of vacating. Eviction laws. There are 2 legally accepted causes for evictions in Nebraska. Non-payment of rent. If the tenant is late on rent, the landlord can issue a 3-day notice to pay or quit. This gives the tenant 3 days to pay the rent in full, along with any penalties, or vacate the property. If they do neither, the landlord may be forced to seek an eviction from the court. Non-compliance. If the tenant breaks any portion of the lease other than late rent, the landlord may give the tenant 14 days to comply with the lease. If they do not resolve the issue, they must vacate the property within 30 days of receiving the notice. Furthermore, if the violation is the same occurrence in the last 6 months, the landlord has the option to end the lease within 14 days' notice.